The cue is here is morals. Question your morals constantly.
Question your morals constantly.
Question your morals constantly. Like start conversations that might feel uncomfortable. Like encourage people to talk to you. Talk to people that you might be afraid to talk to.
And don't be afraid to be the only gay person in the room.
Yeah.
And we have just as much a right at the seat of the table as anyone else.
That's right. This is our table. Andrew Steyer, welcome to Say It Slay. It's so great to have you.
Thank you. It's great to be here.
My boy is visiting. He used to live here in Austin, but he decided to come back for what reason?
I still have family here in San Antonio, and then Eric Allen. Basically, one of my friends had like this giant gay fun party weekend in Enchanted Rock, and so I just got done partying my butt off, and then I decided to stay here a little bit to see friends like you.
So you're not going to tell the people about the DUI that you're fighting?
Oh my God, no, do not put that on me. I do not have one.
He's actually back here for a court summons. He's got to pay child
support.
No.
That's like one of my biggest fears when I'm like, oh my God, what if I had too much and I didn't realize it and I get pulled over? I've had like nightmares that I am getting DUIs.
Oh.
Yeah, that stuff is scary.
Really? Yeah, that is scary. I thought you were going to say about having a child. Child support's probably more scary to me. But that's cute too. Well, I'm glad you were able to make it down for your friend's birthday party. We're glad to have you. Well, this is my friend. He's gone the comedian route, and you got your master's or your doctor or what?
Yeah, I have a PhD in electrical and computer engineering.
What does that mean?
So basically, I do mostly stuff with machine learning. So like AI. Right now at my job, I'm working a lot with large language models, LLMs, like the ChatGPT stuff, which is really cool. But yeah, and then on the side, when I'm not at work, I'm pursuing comedy, making TikToks. I have my podcast. Just like, I really want to be in that world. I just love making entertaining stuff.
Yeah. Before we go into the entertaining side, because that's very interesting, of course. I love that. But no, so you said you obviously you went to school for quite a long time. I know what I knew you, and then like you're doing AI. Like you just jumped into that. Like you knew it was coming. You weren't going to tell anybody.
AI.
It's coming, guys.
I hadn't even done any coding before college, and then my undergrad was biomedical engineering, and we had to take some programming courses, and then I learned I loved that, and so when I went into grad school, I was like, what can I do that like uses what I already know and also uses programming? And at the time, and there's still a little bit of this, but there was a lot of like the idea of like using machine learning for medical records and finding cures and stuff like that. And so that's how I first discovered machine learning. I was lucky to be at UT, which has like a lot of great programs around that stuff. And so I like dipped my toe in it in grad school and I was like, oh, I love this stuff.
Yeah.
And it was just kind of timed well because like I feel like I got in pretty early on the whole machine learning craze. And so then when I was able to like start getting jobs, I worked at Twitter before it was X. And so
Were you fired? Did you get fired? Were you a part of that?
No, I was an intern, so I was already gone, thank God. Yeah. Oh. But a lot of my friends were.
Really?
And I don't think anyone because a lot of my friends went full time after the internship, and now none of them work there anymore.
Do you feel like they landed in a better spot?
My ex was one of them, so I hope not.
I'm going to cast just hate on everybody just because of that one ex that you had. That's terrible.
No.
Yeah,
I think they've all ended up in a good spot.
So you're not friends with your exes. Got it.
Oh my God. He's not really an ex. He's just a guy. Oh, I shouldn't even be saying this.
Wow. You guys weren't even dating and you're already you got titles. We're broken up. Yeah.
It's just easier to say. What do you call someone who you had a crush on and were pursuing and dated, but it didn't become a relationship,
You call them by their name.
I'm not saying his name. Stop trying to get that juicy tea out of me.
Just a little situationship,
Okay,
yeah, I guess. But I'm sorry that didn't work out for you.
You call them by your name. You're so messy.
You call them by your name. Sometimes you might slip on it. It could happen. It would be entertaining for us.
Oh my God.
Yeah, this is social. Okay, so it sounds like you're a better layman term is nerdy, right? So
yeah, I'm nerdy.
You're a nerdy guy. I'm a nerdy guy too. I love technology, and then you have this this craze for comedy, which kind of surprised me. I thought you were a pretty funny guy when I met you, but then you're like, actually, I have a stand-up show. If you think this is fun, I'm like, how did you even get into all that?
Yeah, so when I was growing up, I did theater, and then I discovered improv, which is basically theater that you make up on the spot. So I really came at it first as kind of the theater kid route of oh my God. And I love improv comedy is the first thing I really started with. I've been doing that for 14 years. And so with that stuff, you're just like basically making a play or a scene, but there's no script and there's a lot of humor involved. And so that was my first experience, like being on stage and making people laugh. And so I hadn't even thought about stand-up until people started telling me like, oh, hey, like you do this. Have you ever thought of trying stand-up? And then my friends started getting into stand-up. And then I went to my first like open mic just to check it out. I was like all intimidated. And then I was like, oh, they really let just anyone do this.
They do, yeah.
Yeah, like really, because like you can just get up and do it. And so it's like, oh, I can do better than these people, right? So it's like easy to, I feel like if you go to an open mic, you can kind of gain the confidence to at least start. But then it took a while before I like really started actually getting like jokes together. Like going to an open mic and trying something is one thing, but being able to get on stage and like making an audience like really laugh and stay with you, it's a whole different game.
Okay, so you started off in school as a theater kid.
Yeah.
And then you're like, oh wait, now there's like this improv thing where I could just like make stuff up on the fly. That wasn't like a part of like the same like classes or separate? When did improv start?
So if you want to go all the way back, in junior high, I was in a play, and during our intermission, they had my junior high's improv team perform, and I watched it, and it was just like instantly fell in love. I was like, this is so cool. Because I've always been really, like, improv is kind of like a mix of writing and acting, and growing up, I was also really into writing. I would like write little dumb novels and stuff like that. I had one called The Fifth Grade Against the Tree Monsters. Like, so I think that's one of the reasons it like really immediately drew me in. And I love collaborating with people. Improv is all about working together. And then they didn't have improv in high school, but once I got to college, the improv troupe at UT was called Giggle Pants.
Giggle Pants.
Yeah.
Nice.
And so I did that for 4 years and then some when I was in grad school. Yeah, it's hard to say the name without laughing.
Like, would you like to join Giggle Pants? So that, like,
really? No, like dead ass. When I first got to UT, I like Googled, I was like improv troops, and the only one I found was Giggle Pants, something called Giggle Pants, and I wasn't out of the closet yet, and I was like, that sounds really gay. I'm not doing that. Like,
yeah.
But then I went to a show because the shows were free, and I was like, oh no, this is really cool. I really, really like this. So
it's for everybody.
Yeah. And it's cool because it's like having a name that's that silly. Like if someone is so like anti-goofy and anti-fun, like if they're so too cool for school that they're not even going to see a show called Giggle Pants, like you end up weeding out a lot of people in a crowd that might not be fun to perform for, you know?
Yeah, I could see that. Well, wouldn't like a lot of the crowd be people that are also like comedians too, or like doing the stand-up, or do you think just like general people show up?
Well, the cool thing was being on campus. It was like a lot of just college kids who were looking for something fun and free to do on a Friday night.
Something free to do, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And then people would come and be like, "Oh, what is this?" And then they'd really have a good time. So, yeah.